What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today I've got a story time that I haven't told before about, back when I was really young, this spoiled kid ended up stealing my Game Boy, and I was not too thrilled with it. So, I figured since I'm doing the shorter stories this month, I would tell it to y'all because I think you're going to enjoy it. So without further ado, let's go, baby. Don't steal someone's Game Boy. Alright, so this story doesn't take place in school, but something very similar. My parents had to work when I was younger, so like during the summer, sometimes I would have to go to this like a rec center and hang out with kids there. And honestly, I was not the biggest fan of it, okay? I've always kind of liked to just kind of chill, do my own thing, play some Pokemon, play some video games. So just being in a situation where I was forced to like, do stuff I didn't want to do with people I didn't necessarily know was never something I was hyped about. And because of that, my parents were kind of like, well, you can take your Game Boy, that's fine, you just can't be alone. I was too young for that. So I was like, all right, bet, I'll take my Game Boy, I'll just kind of be able to do what I want to do, play Pokemon Fire Red, and everyone's gonna leave me alone. The only issue was, obviously, I didn't think this through too far, is that everybody that didn't have a Game Boy that was there, like liked Pokemon, was constantly bugging me to like play my Game Boy, play Pokemon. And listen, I understand that that's what's gonna happen, I'm the idiot that brought the Game Boy here, obviously people were gonna want to watch me play and borrow it, but because it was my Game Boy, and at the time it was basically my most prized possession to ever exist, there was no way I was about to let anybody just play it, especially on Pokemon. Are you kidding me? The last thing I need is one of you guys to teach my Blastoise and HM I can't make it forget. The last thing I want is you guys wasting my Master Ball on something dumb, so no, I wasn't really down to let people play my Game Boy. And a lot of the people didn't like that I wasn't letting people play my Game Boy, which listen, I'm sure it was annoying from their perspective, but at the same time, I don't gotta let you just like play with my stuff. And there was this one kid that was super entitled that I'm gonna name Kevin for the rest of the story, and Kevin was probably the most persistent about insisting that I let him play my Game Boy. And he would say stuff like, well, I have a Game Boy at my house, so I know how to use it, I won't break it. And my reply would be like, well, then you should bring your Game Boy, bro. He would argue with me about everything I'm doing while like people would watch me play was wrong, and overall, I just really didn't want Kevin to play my Game Boy. I didn't want anyone to touch it, but if you're gonna be sitting there critiquing me while you're watching me play, I really don't want to let you borrow it. But sure enough, one time I had to go to the bathroom, and one of my friends that I had gotten to know, was asking if he could play the Game Boy while I went to the bathroom. And I literally didn't want to let anyone use it, but at the same time, I didn't want to take it to the bathroom, so I was like, fine, you can play, but don't use my Master Ball, don't teach my Pokemon any moves, and whatever you do, do not let anyone else play this Game Boy. I will be right back. Do not let anyone else touch it. That was kind of what I said before I left. And I wasn't trying to guard this thing like it was some rare golden treasure. I was just young and it was my Game Boy, dude. Like this thing was just my prized possession. So whatever, I go to the bathroom and I'm gone for maybe 3-4 minutes, and I come back out and I walk up to my friend and I go, hey, can I have my Game Boy back? And he goes, oh, I gave it to Kevin. And I'm like, what do you mean you gave it to Kevin, bro? I told you not to give it to anyone. Where's my Game Boy? And he's like, no, Kevin said that it was cool if he played it. You told him it was okay because he saw you in the bathroom. And I'm like, I never told Kevin he's allowed to play my Game Boy. He had seen me walked away and walked up to this dude and been like, Ryan said it's cool if I play it. So sure enough, my friend, not knowing any better, had just kind of given it to him. And at that point, I'm pissed. Like, I'm annoyed with my friend, but I'm more annoyed that Kevin has my Game Boy. And I'm especially annoyed because I start looking around to try to find him and get it back, and homie has just vanished off the face of the earth. It's like he had stolen my Game Boy, gotten the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter, and then teleported to another dimension to make sure that I was never going to be able to track him down. I'm like running around this rec center, dude. I'm looking in classrooms or like, the rooms that they have there. I'm looking in different groups. I'm searching for him, and I literally cannot find Kevin or my Game Boy literally anywhere. And listen, I was not trying to have to snitch in this situation, but after spending 15 minutes looking and not being able to find Kevin or my Game Boy, I was starting to get worried that he had like stolen it and gone home, So at that point, I finally decided to tell one of the workers there. And the workers were just like older teenage kids. It's not like they were, some boomers or anything. So I walked up to the one that I trusted the most, which was an older guy, and I was like, hey, this kid stole my Game Boy. And the reason I was telling this particular worker is me and him had talked about Pokemon before, so I knew if anyone was gonna understand why I was so upset about it being missing it was going to be him. And he's like, okay, well, did you tell him he could play it? And I'm like, no. And he goes, all right, well, what game do you had? And I was like, Pokemon. And he's like, all right, well, you know, let's see if we can find him. So I start walking around with this worker, and he's looking for Kevin, and he's asking his coworkers, and everyone's like, yeah, Kevin just went out onto the playground, da-da-da-da-da. So we go out there, and he goes, Kevin! And sure enough, here comes Kevin. He has a Game Boy in his hand. The only problem is my Game Boy was like, I don't know what the color is, like that light blue metally looking one. And on the front of the Game Boy now is just a bunch of stickers. Like it was almost like he had taken it outside and covered it in like just random stickers so you couldn't see the color of it anymore. And I go, what'd you do to my Game Boy? And he goes, this Game Boy? This isn't yours. This is mine. I brought it from home. See, look at the stickers. And the worker is confused, and he looks at me, and I look at him, and I go, that's my Game Boy. That is 100% my Game Boy. He stole it. And, you know, the worker is like, okay, well, is there any way that you can prove this is your Game Boy? Because he's saying it's his, and now it's a he said. And I'm like, listen, dude, that's my Game Boy. You know, I'm a little kid, so I'm not doing the best job of explaining it, but I'm like, that's my Game Boy. He put stickers on it, and he's trying to steal it. And Kevin's just denying it. He's like, it's not my Game Boy. I absolutely did not steal your Game Boy. I brought this one from home. And we're going back and forth. And thankfully, this worker had played Pokemon before, because otherwise I probably would have been out of luck. Because he's just demanding that it's his, you know, he brought it from home. And finally the worker's like, okay, well, if this is your Game Boy, Kevin, and it really is yours, then like I should be able to take it from you, and you should be able to tell me the Pokemon's names and like what Pokemon you have, right? And Kevin, you know, kind of realizes like, uh-oh, okay, yeah, I really can't say no to this because otherwise it's weird. But at the same time, there's no clue he actually knows what's going on because it's not like it's his Game Boy or his game. So he kind of tries to deny it. He's like, no, that's not how this works. I don't even want you to check to see if it's my Game Boy. And the worker's like, well, listen, either we're gonna have to figure it out right now, or I'm gonna take you guys both up to the very front and you're gonna talk to the person in charge of the program because this is serious. Like, I don't want to be in trouble for someone getting their Game Boy stolen. And reluctantly, Kevin hands over the Game Boy, right? Sure enough, he turns it on, goes to Pokemon Fire Red, and he goes, okay, Kevin, what is your main Pokemon? And Kevin, you know, there's really 3 options that you could have. This Pokemon game, you can either have Blastoise, Charizard, or Venusaur as your starter. I know that's nerdy. Okay, I still remember this. And for some reason, Kevin must have just been so focused on putting the stickers on the Game Boy that he didn't remember what I had, which is weird because the dude had been criticizing my gameplay all day, bro. He was like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, wrong move. But for some reason, he, in that moment, thank the grace of Grayskull, decided to say that I had a Charizard. And that's when I knew I had him, ladies and gentlemen, on the ropes, cause nay. I don't dislike Charmander, but I always picked Squirtle as my starter, okay? So instantly, I look at the worker and I go, that's not true, it's a Blastoise and it's named, and I said my Pokemon's name. And at that point, the worker could really tell that like, okay, this is my Game Boy, this is my game. And he says, Kevin, do you have any explanation as to why you don't know what Pokemon you have and it's your Game Boy? And at that point, Kevin just started coming clean. He's like, fine, I stole the Game Boy, fine, I took it, I wanted to put stickers on it because I don't have one. Yeah, he had been telling me he had a Game Boy, but nay, I say, nay. And at that point, the worker's like, all right, Kevin, we'll give him back the Game Boy. So I get my Game Boy back, and then he's like, Kevin, we're gonna go to the front office, like, you're probably gonna get expelled from the program. And at that point, little kid me is like, whoa, I don't want that to happen, you know, I got my Game Boy back, like, I don't care, you don't have to take him to the office. And the worker looks at me and he's like, I don't? You're not mad? And I go, no, as long as I got my Game Boy back, that's really what I was worried about. Like, I don't want the guy to get in any trouble, which, you know, obviously, like, I guess he did steal my Game Boy, but at the same time, I got it back relatively quickly, and like, I didn't want to be responsible for this kid getting kicked out of this program. So the worker looks at me and he's like, I'm really supposed to report stuff like this. And he looks at me and Kevin and he's like, but if you guys are saying that it's okay and you can take care of this issue amongst yourselves, I'm not going to complain because it's way less paperwork for me. And I didn't really understand what paperwork was, but I was like, yeah, if you're cool with us being cool with it, it's all right. And immediately I could see Kevin get relieved a little bit and he was like, thanks, man. And I was like, yeah, just don't take my Game Boy. Like, you know, that's really what I cared about. Little kid me did not care about this kid getting in trouble at all. As long as I had my Pokemon back in my hand, that's all that mattered to me. And the worker, obviously just being like this kid worker who didn't actually want to do any work, was fine with it too. So sure enough, Kevin and I just kind of shook hands and agreed that like, all right, it's all settled, don't touch my Game Boy again. And honestly, after that, he was a lot better, bro. Like, homie was no longer staring over my shoulder calling calling me a moron. He would tell me where like some stuff was, you know, so that way I could go find it because his older brother would play. And overall, me and Kevin actually did end up becoming somewhat friends, you know. Don't get it twisted. I still didn't let him borrow my Game Boy, and like I wasn't going to leave it unattended around him. But, you know, I wasn't either like, I didn't hate his guts and want him to like get kicked out of the program either. But overall, you know, my number one priority in that exact moment was just getting my Game Boy back. Once I had it back in my hands, I really could have cared less about what happened. Either way, though, the worker went on his way. We went back and just kind of kept playing Pokemon. Thankfully, though, a couple kids other than Kevin ended up bringing their Game Boys whenever I would be there after. So we would also be able to like battle and trade and whatnot. And overall, it was a pretty good time, but I just figured you guys would enjoy the story of the time the spoiled kid stole my Game Boy. If you did, I would appreciate you guys taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. And of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on those notifications. If you really want to help me out, you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. And I also do post these on offline on Spotify. Well, I guess it's technically online, but I do post these on Spotify. So if you want to ever listen offline without gameplay, whatever floats your boat, you're more than welcome to. That link is going to be down in the description. But yeah, on that note, guys, I'm actually going to go see if I can find my Game Boy and my Fire Red, see how my Blastoise has been doing after all these years. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see each and every single one of you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.